What happens when a simple traffic stop takes an unexpected turn? When a cop, driven by bias, arrests a woman, unaware of the hidden strength she holds within, and even more shockingly, unaware of the very heroic past he himself shares with her. Meet Lena Johnson, a woman whose calm demeanor hides a strength that only a few could ever comprehend. A social worker by day, but far more than what her appearance suggests. Lena is a woman forged through hardship, whose resolve is as unshakable as the very earth beneath her feet. She is not just another face in the crowd. Lena has faced more than most, and every challenge has made her stronger. Born into a world where survival is an everyday struggle, Lena's strength lies in her ability to rise above, to lead and protect those who need it most. A woman with the courage to stand tall, regardless of the odds stacked against her. And then, there is Officer Rick Donovan, an officer who believes his badge grants him the right to dictate the world around him. A man whose sense of authority stems not from respect, but from a deep-seated need to control, to enforce his version of order. To him, Lena is just another person to assert power over, another problem he can put in their place. His worldview is simple: those who challenge him must be subdued, even if that means seeing people not for who they are, but for what he believes them to be. But Lena Johnson is not just a social worker. Beneath the calm exterior lies a woman whose past few will ever fully understand. A legendary Army general, once celebrated for her brilliance, her leadership, and her victories on the battlefield. A name whispered in awe, yet largely unknown to the world she's chosen to walk away from. Officer Donovan has no idea who stands before him. In this moment, he is about to learn that Lena Johnson is not just a woman who can be dismissed. She is someone with a past filled with power, respect, and a history that ties her fate to his in ways he never expected. Today, Lena will show him what it truly means to underestimate someone. Today, the officer will learn that his badge does not give him the power he believes he has. And what happens next will leave him questioning everything he thought he knew about authority, identity, and power. The sun hangs high in the sky, casting its warm light over a quiet suburban street. The sound of passing cars hums in the background, the usual calm of the afternoon breaking only for the occasional rustle of leaves in the breeze. It's a day like any other, the kind of day when everything seems predictable until, of course, it isn't. As the camera focuses on a police patrol car parked at the curb, we catch sight of Officer Rick Donovan, sitting in his car. His fingers move absent-mindedly over the wheel, his eyes scanning the road ahead. There's a sense of purpose in his movements, but it's not a kind of purpose born from curiosity or service. It's a power trip. For him, this is just another day in a job that gives him control over others. He doesn't see people, he sees opportunities to assert dominance, to enforce his sense of order on the world around him. A car approaches and Donovan's eyes narrow. The woman behind the wheel doesn't know it yet, but she is about to become his next target. Without hesitation, he flicks on the sirens, the sudden flash of red and blue lights cutting through the otherwise peaceful atmosphere. The car ahead slows, pulling over to the side of the road. Its routine just another stop, another opportunity for him to flex his authority. Lena Johnson, the woman behind the wheel, is unfazed. She's been through this before, countless times, and she knows exactly how to handle herself. Her hands grip the steering wheel with steady confidence, her eyes focused on the road ahead. She doesn't panic. She doesn't flinch. She simply does what she's always done, take control of the situation, no matter how it unfolds. As the patrol car comes to a stop behind her, Donovan steps out, his posture rigid with the weight of the uniform. His eyes are sharp, his steps deliberate. There's no hint of hesitation in his movements, only the kind of self-assurance that comes from years of believing that his badge makes him untouchable. This is a man who walks into every situation with the belief that everyone around him must submit to his authority. When he reaches her window, he doesn't greet her with kindness or understanding. His words come out with an edge, like an order rather than a question. "Do you know why I pulled you over?" he demands, his tone already assuming guilt. Lena meets his gaze with a calmness that unsettles him. She doesn't react to his aggression, doesn't rise to meet it. She simply watches him, waiting for him to speak. She knows this game. She knows what he's trying to do. The tension builds, but she doesn't break. "I'm aware of the speed limit, officer. I was in a rush." Lena responds evenly, not giving him the satisfaction of showing any weakness. Her voice doesn't waver, her composure unshaken. But Donovan doesn't care for her explanation. His response isn't curiosity or an attempt to understand, it's about control. "I need your license and registration. And don't try to play any games with me," he snaps, his voice dripping with condescension. The way he speaks is an unspoken declaration he's the one in charge, and she's the one who needs to comply. Lena's hand moves slowly to the glove compartment, retrieving the necessary documents. She doesn't rush, doesn't fumble. Every action is calculated, deliberate. She knows her rights. She's been in situations like this before, and she knows that staying calm is the only way to navigate it. As she hands over her ID, Donovan's eyes flick to it, a quick glance at the military identification she hands him. The briefest flicker of recognition crosses his face, but he quickly brushes it aside. "Military," he mutters, his gaze lingering on her face. "You don't look like the type." His words are tinged with judgment, a subtle sneer in his voice, as though her military background is something he can't quite comprehend, something he finds difficult to accept. Lena's face doesn't change. She's not surprised by his words. She's heard them all before. Her entire life has been a series of moments like this, moments where people have underestimated her. She's used to it, and she knows exactly how to remain unshaken. With a dismissive shake of his head, Donovan sneers, "What are you, some kind of general?" The question is more of a statement than anything else, as though he's already written her off as unworthy of such a title. Lena doesn't rise to meet the insult. She doesn't need to. She doesn't need to prove anything to him. She simply responds, her tone firm but calm. "I'm a general." The words hang in the air between them, but Donovan doesn't seem to believe her. He scoffs, still holding the ID in his hand, his grip tightening slightly, as if the truth before him doesn't fit the narrative he's constructed in his mind. His judgment is clear. To him, Lena is just another person to be put in their place. She's another problem to be dealt with, nothing more, nothing less. His authority is absolute in his eyes, and anyone who dares to challenge that must be subdued. But Lena doesn't flinch. She doesn't shrink back. She stands tall, the weight of her past experiences and her knowledge of her own strength giving her the resilience to stay calm. She knows that her silence is more powerful than anything he can say. And as the tension between them grows, she knows that he has no idea who he's truly dealing with. The cop, still holding her ID, takes a step closer, his eyes narrowed in suspicion. His words come faster now, more insistent, as he demands she step out of the vehicle. "I'm going to need you to step out of the car," he orders, the hint of anger creeping into his voice. "You've been acting suspicious, and I don't like the look of this." Lena remains motionless, unfazed by his command. She's seen this type of aggression before, and she won't be intimidated by it. In her calmness, in her refusal to react, there lies a power that Donovan cannot see, one that will soon unravel everything he thought he knew about control and authority. The tension thickens, the moment pregnant with possibility, as Donovan's underlying bias becomes all too clear. His judgment has already been made, and it's one that will soon have consequences. But Lena stands there, her resolve unwavering, prepared for what's to come. The moment between Lena and Officer Donovan stretches into silence, heavy and thick. His words hang in the air, full of authority, full of anger, but Lena stands unshaken. There's a quiet power about her, something that Donovan doesn't understand and can't control. His hand hovers over his belt, as though he's ready to escalate things, but he's not sure where to start. With the words "step out of the vehicle," Donovan has crossed a line. It's no longer a simple traffic stop. The power dynamic he's clung to has shifted, and he doesn't even realize it. Lena remains in her seat, her hands still resting lightly on the wheel. Her eyes stay steady, unwavering as she meets his glare. She knows this isn't just about a citation or a warning anymore. This is about his need to control, and she won't give in. The cop's voice rises, impatience seeping into his words, frustration starting to edge into his tone. He's been challenged, and he doesn't like it. "I said, get out of the car." Now, Lena doesn't move. She's still. Her face remains calm, but her gaze sharpens as she speaks. "You have no reason to arrest me, officer. I haven't broken any laws. You're escalating this for no reason." She's not resisting. She's not making a scene. Lena simply refuses to submit. She's standing up for her rights, her voice steady, her actions deliberate. The law isn't about power, it's about justice, and she knows that better than anyone. Donovan's frustration grows. His grip tightens around the radio, his thumb hovering over the call button. He's lost control, and it's eating at him. She isn't intimidated. She isn't cowering. He's not used to this. He's not used to being challenged, especially by someone like her. You're making this difficult for yourself, lady. I gave you a chance, but now you're just asking for trouble. His voice hardens. He's made up his mind this won't be a normal stop. This will be his chance to assert himself. He yanks open the door of the car, a movement quick and forceful. Lena doesn't flinch. She doesn't protest as he grabs her arm and pulls her out of the vehicle. As Donovan pulls her from the car, the tension snaps. She's being arrested for a crime she didn't commit, and she knows it. But Lena doesn't resist physically. She won't let herself be pulled into his game of aggression. She remains poised, her body relaxed, her mind calm as ever. She knows her rights. She knows the power of silence. Donovan, however, can't see the strength she's showing. He's blinded by his own anger, by the image of control he's desperately trying to maintain. His hands are rough as he places the cuffs on her wrists, the cold metal of the handcuffs digging into her skin. You should have complied. But now you've made it worse. Even as he speaks, Donovan is filled with self-righteous anger. His racism isn't just in his words, it's in the way he sees the world, the way he believes the people around him should behave. And when they don't meet his expectations, he punishes them. His authority is everything to him, and he can't accept that Lena's calm, her self-possession, could be a challenge he doesn't know how to deal with. As he shoves Lena toward his patrol car, she looks back at him, her expression still unwavering. There's a brief pause before she speaks, her voice low but clear, cutting through the tension in the air. You don't know who I am, do you? The words hang there, almost too quiet to hear, but Donovan stiffens. His brow furrows, and for the first time, doubt begins to creep into his mind. He looks at her face, trying to read the calmness in her eyes. There's something there, something in the way she speaks, in the stillness of her movements, that doesn't quite match the situation. Something shifts. The calm, composed woman he thought was just another victim of the system is no longer just that. There's a depth to her that Donovan can't place, a quality that unsettles him. She isn't afraid. She isn't pleading. She's simply waiting. What are you talking about? Lena doesn't answer immediately. Instead, she takes a small breath, her eyes scanning the area, assessing her surroundings as if preparing for the next move. The weight of her words lands on Donovan, though, and a flicker of doubt crosses his face. I've been trained for situations like this. My connections run deeper than you think. Her words are subtle, but they carry a weight that Donovan cannot ignore. There's something in the way she carries herself, a sense of purpose, a knowledge that transcends the circumstances. It's not arrogance. It's not defiance. It's a quiet strength that tells him he's not dealing with just another woman on the street. This woman knows more than he can fathom. For a moment, Donovan falters. He glances at her again, studying her face, trying to reconcile the woman standing before him with the one in his mind. There's something about her, something that doesn't fit the narrative he's constructed. Her calmness, her composure, it doesn't belong here, in this confrontation. His grip tightens on the handcuffs, but his mind begins to race. Donovan's doubt grows, but he's too proud to question it. He's made up his mind this is still about control. But as he pushes her into the back of the patrol car, the nagging feeling lingers. He can't shake the thought that there's something more to this woman than what meets the eye. Something deeper, something that doesn't add up. The tension thickens. Lena remains calm, her body relaxed in the back seat, as if she's waiting for the inevitable. She doesn't resist. She doesn't argue. But Donovan can't help but feel that she's in control in ways he can't quite understand. Her silence is no accident. Lena is no ordinary woman, and soon Donovan will learn that the woman he's just arrested holds more power than he could ever imagine. The car slows to a stop at an intersection, the world outside a blur of movement. Inside the patrol car, the silence feels almost oppressive, as if the weight of the past few moments is too much to bear. Donovan's mind races, torn between the man he once was and the man he is now, a man who has fallen from grace, a man whose power is more fragile than he ever realized. But Lena remains calm, her hands still cuffed, her eyes clear. There's no anger in her gaze, only quiet certainty. She's seen this before. She's faced this kind of person before. And she knows exactly what needs to be said. Lena sits in the back of the patrol car, the weight of the situation pressing down on both of them. Donovan, once a man of respect, now a man lost in his own failings. Lena, a woman with a past too powerful to ignore, but too quiet to demand anything. It's in this moment when their worlds collide that Lena speaks, her voice low but unwavering. She doesn't shout. She doesn't lash out. She simply confronts the truth. Lena shifts slightly in the back seat, her eyes never leaving Donovan's. She knows what she's about to say will shake him, but she doesn't hesitate. The calm strength she carries with her is the same strength that allowed her to command armies, to rise above the forces that sought to tear her down. Do you even hear yourself, Officer Donovan? All of this, the way you treat people, the way you judge them before you've even gotten to know them, it's nothing more than a reflection of your own failure. Your failure to live up to the potential you once had. You were supposed to be a leader. You were supposed to be someone who served with honor, but instead, you chose this life of small-town control, abusing the power you've been given, letting your bias run unchecked. Her words cut through the air like a blade. She doesn't raise her voice, but the force behind them is undeniable. She's not speaking to him as just another officer. She's speaking to him as a man who once stood for something greater than himself. And in that moment, Donovan is faced with the raw truth he's been avoiding for years. Donovan doesn't respond right away. The truth stings more than he expected. He's used to defending his actions, justifying his choices. But Lena's words strike a chord. Her calmness, her clarity, her unwavering confidence at all makes him question everything he thought he knew about himself, about his power, about his purpose. He wants to argue, to defend himself, to fight back against the reality Lena is forcing him to see. But the words don't come. The guilt, the doubt, it all piles up inside of him, a storm he can't control. He's being confronted with his own failures, and there's no way to escape them now. Do you know what it means to truly lead, Officer Donovan? It's not about power. It's not about control. It's about responsibility, about protecting others, not breaking them down. You've forgotten what it means to serve, to stand for something greater than yourself. And it's why you're stuck here behind the wheel of a patrol car arresting people like me. Lena's words carry not just the weight of truth, but the weight of her own experience. She's been through battles, both on and off the battlefield. She's had to fight against systems that wanted to tear her down, that wanted to reduce her to nothing. But she never let them. And now in this moment she stands tall, confronting Donovan's weaknesses, showing him what real power looks like. Donovan's internal struggle becomes a storm. His mind races, torn between the man he once was and the man he has become. He's faced with a deep, gut-wrenching realization he has failed, not just as a cop, but as the leader he once prided himself on being. Lena isn't just confronting his authority, she's confronting his entire identity. He wants to break down. He wants to cry out, but there's no escaping the truth. His life, his career, his beliefs have all crumbled before him. And the woman he tried to control, the woman he tried to diminish, is the one who holds the power in this moment. She's not just physically strong, she's morally resolute, mentally unyielding, and emotionally intact. She has the courage to stand up to injustice, even when faced with the very system that seeks to silence her. As Donovan's mind spirals, the situation around him intensifies. The attention of onlookers begins to gather, bystanders, witnesses, and people who are now recording the entire exchange. The pressure mounts. The badge he once wore with such pride now feels like a weight, a symbol of everything he's failed to live up to. With every click of a phone, with every voice that rises in protest, Donovan is forced to face not just Lena's confrontation, but the public's judgment as well. His actions are no longer just between him and Lena, they are being scrutinized, and the world is watching. Public opinion shifts, and with it, the foundation of Donovan's power begins to crumble. He can no longer hide behind his badge. He can no longer use his authority to mask his weaknesses. In this moment, the truth is clear. His past has caught up with him, and Lena has forced him to face everything he's tried to bury. And so, as the world watches and the tension grows, Donovan stands on the precipice of his own reckoning. The questions linger in the air. Will he continue to hide behind his badge, or will he finally confront the truth that Lena has laid bare? The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear: this moment will change them both forever. The air is thick with the weight of the moment as Donovan pulls the car over to the side of the road. His hands, still trembling slightly from the emotional whirlwind, grip the steering wheel like a lifeline. The quiet hum of the engine seems deafening now, the tension between him and Lena heavier than it's ever been. He's not the man he thought he was. He's not the man he once hoped to be. In this silence, the reality sinks in. Everything has led to this point: the arrest, the confrontation, the guilt. Officer Donovan, a man who once held the world in his hands, now sits on the precipice of self-realization. He's been forced to face the truth of his actions, the truth of his biases, and the truth of his failures. And as the weight of that truth presses on him, something inside him begins to shift. This isn't about power anymore. It's about redemption. He opens his mouth, but the words feel foreign, as if he's never truly said them before. For the first time, Donovan finds himself in the position of having to apologize not because he was forced to, but because he understands the depth of his wrongdoing. I was wrong. I shouldn't have done what I did. I treated you like you were beneath me, like you were just another person to control. And I'm sorry, I've made a mess of this. His apology is simple, but it is genuine. There is no pride in his voice, no justification. Just the raw, uncomfortable truth of a man who has finally realized how deeply he's fallen from the person he once aspired to be. Lena's response doesn't come in the form of words immediately. She has been through too much to simply forgive without thought. She understands the complexity of the situation, the journey Donovan has been on, his failures, his regrets. But she knows this moment isn't about her. It's about him. It's about him finding a way back to the person he once was, the person who had honor, integrity, and the ability to change. Everyone has a choice, Officer Donovan. You've made yours. It's not enough to just say the words. Change takes time. But it starts here. It starts with recognizing the mistakes, with understanding the hurt you've caused not just to me, but to others too. Lena's words are not harsh. They're not filled with bitterness. They're simply the truth. The kind of truth that demands growth, that demands change. She knows better than anyone that true redemption doesn't come from a single apology. It comes from consistent action, from confronting one's own demons and doing the hard work to make things right. Lena doesn't need to forgive him in this moment. She doesn't need to offer him absolution. She knows that true healing starts with acknowledging the wrong, with taking responsibility. And Donovan, for the first time in a long time, is listening. As the confrontation ends, the eyes of the world begin to shift. The small town street that was once a simple backdrop to a routine arrest has now become the stage for something far larger. The bystanders who had gathered around, the witnesses who had pulled out their phones, this incident is no longer just between Lena and Donovan. It's a moment of public reckoning, one that will ripple through the town, through the nation, sparking a conversation about racial bias, power, and the need for accountability. News spreads quickly. The footage of the confrontation goes viral. The conversations begin, the ones that Donovan never thought would happen, the ones that challenged the system he thought he controlled. Social media lights up, and the world begins to question the authority of law enforcement, the need for reform, and the power of redemption. Donovan knows that the road ahead is uncertain. The attention, the scrutiny, it's all too much. But one thing is clear: he can't keep running from his past. He can't keep hiding behind the badge. What he does next will define who he is for the rest of his life. Will he change? Will he choose to step up, to take the lessons learned in this moment and make them part of his daily life? Or will he retreat back into the comfort of denial, choosing to stay in the system that has been broken for so long? Only time will tell. The car continues its journey down the road, the world outside moving forward, as Donovan reflects on everything that has transpired. The events of the day, the arrest, the confrontation, the realization are now a part of his story. They have altered the course of his life in ways he can't yet fully understand. Lena remains quiet in the backseat, her presence a reminder of the lessons that have been laid before him. This moment was never just about one arrest. It was never just about power or control. It was about recognition, recognizing not just the wrongs done to others, but the wrongs done to ourselves. Officer Donovan, once blind to his own biases, now finds himself at a crossroads. The apology he offered, though small, is the beginning of a much longer journey. A journey of redemption, of growth, of learning what it truly means to serve, to lead, and to be a better man. The lessons here are clear. Racism, though often subtle, seeps into the very fabric of society. It shapes the way we see others, the way we treat them. But redemption is possible. Change is possible. And it begins with self-reflection, acknowledging our mistakes, facing the uncomfortable truths about ourselves, and taking steps to do better, to be better. As we reflect on this moment, we must ask ourselves, what are we doing to confront our own biases? Are we part of the problem or part of the solution? Change begins with understanding, with standing up for what's right, even when it's uncomfortable. We must not remain silent in the face of injustice, nor let our prejudices go unchecked. Each of us has a role to play. We must not only recognize the injustice that surrounds us, but we must also take action. Whether through small acts of kindness, standing up for others, or supporting movements for equality, our collective efforts can make a difference. Together we can create a world where power is used to uplift, not control, where respect is given to all, regardless of race, background, or circumstance. True strength lies not in dominance, but in our ability to confront our mistakes, to grow from them, and to rise above our flaws. Only then can we begin to change not just the systems around us, but the systems within ourselves. Change starts with us. It starts with you. What will you do to make the world a better place?